Our guests in this segment with the Country Roads Angel Network include Scott Widmyer. Good morning, Scott. Great to have you with us via telephone.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys this morning?
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And the president, Frank Vitale. Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Good morning. Great. It's great to be with you today.
Frank, you have fulfilled my obligation of having one fellow Italian on the show with me every single day. I appreciate your participation in that.
It's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Tell me, hey, first and foremost, you guys are all part of this Bridging Innovation Conference at that's been going on, and we talked about this on the show a couple of weeks ago. Can you tell me what part that you guys are filling in conjunction with the Bridging Innovation Conference?
Well, we are we're affiliated with Bridging Innovation. We work very closely with Tara and Amber, who were on your show a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
We have a section of the meeting on Tuesday and Wednesday on the Shepherd campus. We'll be a part of the various competitions that will be going on for new business proposals, and then on Wednesday morning we'll have our annual meeting. I'll let Frank elaborate more on what our annual meeting will provide. But we're looking forward to being over in Shepherdstown this week and teaming up with a lot of talent that the state of West Virginia and the new business opportunities that we're seeing.
Very good, Scott. The Country Roads Angel Network. Can you tell me about that?
Frank, you want to go into that?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about that. So in 2019, a group of entrepreneurs recognized the need for capital, private capital, private equity in West Virginia. You know, unfortunately, it's one of those demographics where West Virginia ranks last in the country for access to capital. So several entrepreneurs got together and said, you know what, we want to invest in West Virginia and in West Virginia businesses and startups. So the network formed and began. There were certainly other models out in the country. Kevin Combs is our founder. He and a group of folks like Scott got together. I came on a year or two later. And so we have joined, which culminates, quite frankly, into the Bridging Innovation Conference. We have joined the West Virginia entrepreneurial ecosystem. And so we play a strong role in that. And we bring private investors together. We bring resources and business coaches together to help support our entrepreneurs and to coach them through the pitch process and making sure that their ideas are heard and vetted and they get feedback. And then hopefully can plug into some other state resources, as we have found that working together certainly makes us a lot stronger. And we've seen the impact of a growing economy over the last 10 years, particularly in the Eastern Panhandle, quite frankly. When you look at Berkeley and Jefferson and Morgan, counties, they've added over 10,000 jobs in the last 10 years. Obviously, population growth, they account for almost $1 billion in tourism revenue. So over 1,500 small businesses just in those counties alone have started up. So in the last 10 years. So as we see the growth, we want to make sure that there's private equity and capital, and that's what CRAN's all about, fulfilling a mission of growing West Virginia.
Mike Hornby, who is...
Yeah, we're just to add to what Frank said, we're excited about being in the Panhandle this week. Part of our annual meeting, we've invited Shepherd University President Mary Hendricks and Gat Caperton, who owns the furniture company in Berkeley Springs. We think Gat represents kind of what the future of West Virginia is in terms of talent. He recognizes the really smart talent that exists over in the Panhandle, and part of what we want to do this week is bring our message to the Eastern Panhandle. We've got a number of partnerships going on around the state with various colleges. We want to do the same with Shepherd and the community college programs over there, and to really spread the word about how CRAN can support new business, a mentor, we can be a partner, and potentially invest in these projects.
We've had Gat on the show before, and it was a great interview. He does some wonderful things. with his business there. Employs a lot of people too. And Mike Hornby is the House Caucus Chair. He's also the owner of the station and co-hosting this morning too. And does the state play any role in this with economic development in regards to the Angel Network or anything like that, Frank or Scott?
Yeah, sure. I'll just jump in there. We have worked over the last few years, particularly with the Department of Economic Development and with the Secretary of Commerce. We've done a lot of work with Mike Graney out of the Commerce Office, and so they are truly a partner. They have business coaching available through the Small Business Development Center, and so we often rely on them for advice and guidance. And they oftentimes are the tie that binds, that brings these nonprofit and private organizations together. So we have a great relationship right now with the state of West Virginia, particularly as they're focusing on economic development and growth.
Mike?
So specifically here in the Eastern Panhandle, what kind of businesses have you invested in or worked with, or smaller businesses or startups?
Well, hi, Mike. It's Scott. We're looking for businesses and startups to invest in the Panhandle. Right now, we don't have any to point to. We are in discussions with I don't want to go into the details right now. We are in discussions with one right now that has a place in the sports and entertainment world that we're talking to, and it's all about these startups trying to figure out how they bring their funds together and then how we can support them with additional funds. What we do is provide seed money, and then they build from there. We'll be announcing 3 new investments on Wednesday at our meeting. Those so far we've invested. We're approaching about $2 million in investments that we've made. But what happens is each investment that we make, they then pull together other buckets of support to match. And it could be state money. It could be local banking money. It can be through Vantage Ventures. It could be a partnership with one of the major colleges and universities. It really becomes like a family of support for these new businesses. We would encourage startups in the Panhandle that are interested to take a look at our website. The website is wvcran.com, wvcran.com. And what we do, we meet monthly. Our angel group meets monthly, and then we're a little bit like Shark Tank, although we're much nicer than Shark Tank. We each business that we vet, we ask them to participate in it. We start with a Zoom call in our meetings, and they have about 15 or 20 minutes to make their pitch. And then if our group we have about 40 angel investors, if that group thinks that there's potential there, we then do our due diligence, and that can take anywhere from 2 to 4 months. And then if everything comes together, our group can then put money into their venture.
John Gilstrap.
Yeah, good morning. You said very early on that West Virginia ranks last in access to capital. Why is that?
Well, I think, this is Frank, I think for a couple reasons. Just one, culturally, I think we have shifted toward this entrepreneurialism, and understanding that, hey, in West Virginia, we can start businesses also, just like other people in other states. And so you begin to see this growth of the entrepreneurial ecosystem that I mentioned earlier. And so I think it's become a sort of a mindset shift. So now we have more entrepreneurs stepping up, smaller businesses stepping up, and not just one and not that there's anything wrong with this, but not just 1 and 2 employee companies, but 10, 15, 20 employees. Those small businesses form the backbone of our economy, quite frankly. There are a lot more of those than the larger businesses, the larger corporations out there. So I think it's because we've seen a swing of mindset in that people now want to start businesses, and we're seeing that statistically around the state, and in particular in the Eastern Panhandle. So because of that, that's now requiring, hey, we need access to capital. How can we do it conventionally? How can we do it unconventionally? And where CRAN steps in is that we meet people at a time and place where they are, where they traditionally cannot get bank funding or traditional loans. So private investors step in, they work with these entrepreneurs, they help them develop their early stage business until they're ready to either go public or move on to different kinds of funding.
So within the Angel Network, is there a particular sleeve of entrepreneur or company that you're looking for, or perhaps the other way around, is there a particular sleeve that you have no interest in whatsoever?
I would say
we're quick. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, John, I would say we really cover the gamut. We're doing a lot of investments in the health and medicine space. There's the growth that we're seeing in the healthcare sector is incredible. We've had a number of potential companies come to us with their startup ideas, particularly around medical devices. We've invested significantly in one called Endolumic that grew out of WVU and the medical team there. And what they've done is they've created a new device that really streamlines surgery, bariatric surgery. So in the health and medical space, we have another one in the sustainability space. A lot of software, electric batteries. We have an organic beef company that started in Greenbrier County. Broadband, Cox Telecom out of Greenbrier County. We invested in them, particularly around the efforts to really bring more broadband and build out broadband in the state of West Virginia. We have another interesting one in the arts space called O Pioneer, which is created by a company over in Randolph County, which looks at part of what we're trying to do also is to really build out the great image that the state needs, and what this company in Randolph County has done with O Pioneer. O Pioneer is a 54-minute documentary that looks at the kind of the 21st century pioneer that exists within the state of West Virginia, and it features a man who is a minister in the Fairmont area, a woman who is a tailor in Tucker County, and then another guy who is a blacksmith over in Harrison County. And to really, it really kind of captures the spirit of these people. And so we invested in that, and now PBS will begin to air their documentary nationwide starting next week. So that's where our investment went, to get them to get their program, to help them get their programming before a national audience. So starting next week, this documentary, O Pioneer, will air on PBS stations across the country. And we also brought a new partner to their effort. WVU Medicine will be the one-year sponsor of O Pioneer. And so the WVU Medicine brand will be part of it. And it will get launched on West Virginia Public Broadcasting next week. They'll also be featured at our annual meeting on Wednesday in Shepherdstown.
So how do you work with the Economic Development Authority or the state's arm? I know that they have programs that do lending for what they consider small business, but I consider much, much larger. How do you partner with them and get your businesses or your startups access to the state money and the state funds?
Yeah, I would just say that that's mostly just through really referrals. I mean, through that ecosystem that I mentioned, we partner well. We refer to one another. So we don't have a specific program, if you will, with them. But when we start working with our entrepreneurs, we review with them all of the resources of which we're acquainted with, and then we make recommendations and we make introductions. And so we make sure that they understand, again, the conventional lending that's available, the state programs like JIT, and then, of course, our program. So we want to make sure, because we know that, we're a group member, or a member group of about 40 investors from 9 states in the District of Columbia. So we have limitations too. So one of the best things that we can do is to introduce them to Mike Graney, introduce them, at the state, introduce them to the Economic Development Authority, and then their local EDAs as well. So it's really just through network.
So,
and typically some of these folks from the state they'll sit in on the pitch calls. They'll hear the pitches. So they are part of the conversation with us as well.
Scott and Frank, a question from our audience, which is, how can you become an angel and get involved that way?
Frank, you want to take that one?
Yeah. We, and I appreciate that question, because the biggest challenge that we have is getting investors, because we want to grow our investor base so that we can offer more investment to more entrepreneurs. We hear about 12 to 16 pitches a year. So we want to increase that deal flow, those opportunities. And the only way we can really do that is by getting more people interested in investing in West Virginia businesses. So if someone is interested in that, I would recommend that they look at our website, wvcran.com. And if they go out there, they look at the Country Roads Angel Network LinkedIn page, they can find contact information. There's a portal there to put in their information, and we will contact them directly. We'd love to have more members join Country Roads Angel Network.
Now, is there a return on the investment for the angels, or do they take part ownership of these companies, or is this truly Angel Network, or is it a partnership like you're talking about with a return on the investment down the road?
Yeah, I'll start with that, and I'll let Scott finish that. That up. But I would just say that if you bring up a great point, that we're not a charity. We don't give out money in a grant form. We are investors, right? So people who invest through CRAN should expect a return on their investment. But there's also that loyalty to West Virginia to want to provide coaching and help these entrepreneurs grow. And Scott can speak to the particulars.
Yeah, there's a multiple set of opportunities. First and foremost, the angels are making an investment because they believe in the business opportunity for the person who's coming up, who has this idea. So that's first and foremost. There is a share that each investor gets in that business. There is often an opportunity that there is a return on the investment. It doesn't happen overnight, but there are returns. We've now been up and operating for 5 years. We have seen returns on a couple to date, and we're optimistic that over the next year or two we will see a couple of additional returns for investors on some of our ventures, and we've got one return that we think will be happening probably within the next couple of months. But a lot of it is investing in companies that we believe have great potential, and then there's always great optimism that the return will be there. The other thing that we do is oftentimes we're mentors, we're partners, we're giving them guidance in terms of how to do their presentations, how to connect with others, how to highlight how to frame their business proposition. So it's more than just yes, it's about putting money into their startups, but it's also about being there as an advisor. And our angels get a lot out of that because it's our way of really making an important connection and helping these often younger teams of professionals really turn something into a success model.
Yeah, I'm on your website now, and I'm on the membership page. Is that what we're talking about? Where if $2,000 buys 2 seats. So is this? I know savings and loan is a specific term of art, but is it sort of that model where if I'm an investor, my $2,000 is pooled with a bunch of other people's $2,000 and then invested in part to... No,
John, the way it is, so an individual if they meet the criteria that the statutes require for investors, they then become a member of the network. They pay their annual fee of, let's say, $1,000. That's the base. That's the base to get into it. And then when the pitches happen, when a startup is making their pitch, they then decide with the other angels if they want to make an investment. So the investment is in addition to that. So the $1,000 goes to really help us operate our network. It's not part of the money that goes into the startup. That is an additional thing. And the range of our investments are they're as low as $50,000 in investment that we might make, and we've had some that we have two now that are approaching $400,000.
We're just
but the $1,000. Think of that as more like an annual dues to be part of the network.
Okay. We're just about out of time here, Frank and Scott. How do we find out more about the Country Roads Angel Network and see you at Shepherd? I've got 30 seconds.
Well, please join us at our annual meeting, our breakfast at the Bavarian Inn on April the 30th at 8 a.m., and you can hear pitches and learn a lot more, or visit our website, wvcran.com.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the information from
Thank
both
you
of you.
all.
Have a great day.
Thank you so
guys.
much.